Hello everyone, my name is T and I am a Psychological Wellbeing Practitioner, also known as PWP, and today I will be presenting a PowerPoint on work experience. So the work experience I gathered before becoming a PWP. Last week I did do a pretty long video on PWP, employability and so on. So I will try to keep this one short. But that might mean that I might miss some information or you might have some additional questions that you want to ask. So if that is the case and if there is something that you would like to know, then please do leave a comment down below and I will do my best to answer. I would really appreciate it if you could subscribe to my channel. I am quite new to YouTube and I hope I am doing it justice, but I'm also quite new to presenting online, so giving it my best try. Do let me know if you have any feedback. I always love feedback. Again, you can put a comment down below or you can send me a message on Instagram and I will try and get back to you as soon as I can. So let's move on and let's go to the first slide. The first slide is actually on my journey. Now, I included a similar slide in my previous video, but in my previous video I only talked about my employment history, and in this one I thought it might be useful to put my work experience alongside my employment history, so it gives you an indication of what I was doing, where I was working alongside studying. So I'll start off with A-levels. As you can see, during my A-levels I was gathering work experience. I was working part-time in retail. That was during the whole 2 years of doing A-levels. I was working on Saturday and Sundays in retail, and then I also volunteered at a secure mental health unit. This was for a couple of months, again part-time. So that's what I was doing during A-levels. Moving on to my BSc, so undergraduate psychology degree, I was also doing lots of work experience. So I started off with retail, I then went on to work in a call centre, went on to do some banking. This was in the evenings after uni. I then went on to do some voluntary work with Mary Curie Hospice. This was only a couple of hours a month, again unpaid. I worked in a veterinary surgery. This was actually part of my placement, a placement semester, so that actually helped me with my research. I will talk a little bit about this when I talk about my voluntary research assistant role. So yes, and I also worked as a mental health first aider. Moving on to my master's then, again I was doing loads of work experience. I worked in retail, I worked as an admin in the NHS, and then volunteer research assistant. So you'll see that volunteer research assistant is being mentioned while working as a qualified PWP and while working as a trainee PWP. So just to clarify that I am a full-time PWP and I have always been working full-time as a trainee PWP and qualified PWP. But what this work experience as a research assistant is that I basically have been working with my master's dissertation tutor. So this is outside of work. So I've had emails or contact with her outside of work, firstly to publish my master's dissertation and then actually helping her with other research projects. So it is voluntary work, but this is not part of IAPT or part of my PWP role. This is something that I have been doing outside of that, and I am actually still doing it. I'm still in regular contact with my dissertation tutor, helping her, supporting her with other research projects. So the reason for adding this slide was because a lot of the time, especially psychology students, do contact me and do say that you know, I was just working retail and I just work in admin and I don't think it's enough, and I feel like, you know, I should be in a mental health related role, and I am no expert. I can only share my personal knowledge. I'm not a careers advisor, and my knowledge is that I also started from retail and I've managed to get where I am. So this is just to give a glimpse of my journey. Hopefully some of you can relate with it, maybe some of you won't. My journey has been like this. Everyone's journey is individual. In my case, I did need to be in paid jobs quite regularly, again down to my personal circumstances. For others, I know it's okay, it's quite easy for them to work in honorary assistant psych roles or voluntary roles for long term, and that's absolutely fine as well. But yes, I'm quite wary of time, so I'm going to move on to the next slide. This slide is basically a summary of the previous slide, and it should give you a good indication of the wide diversity of the industries I worked in. So I didn't just work in mental health related roles. I worked in retail, call center, customer service, admin, all non-mental health related, but they were just as beneficial for me. They helped me to gain some key skills that I am still using in my current role as a PWP, and I will go on to talk about this now. Like the title of this slide, what I do want to say is that every work experience does matter, or at least it has for me. What's really important to bear in mind is that I am sharing my personal experience and my individual journey. Again, I am no professional careers advisor. This is just my space to share my journey. I know everyone has their individual journey, but for me, my work experience, whether working in mental health or not mental health, has really helped me and helped me in my personal statements and my CV, and I'll talk about why this is. So I'm going to start off with my admin role. My admin was not mental health related role, but I did gain some great skills while working as an admin, skills like communication, organization, listening skills, so many I can mention. How? Well, when you're working as an admin, you are communicating on a daily basis, you're communicating with different departments, with clients, and so on. And as a PWP, you need to do that. You need to communicate with GPs, nurses, high intensity therapists. You need to communicate with your colleagues, with patients on a daily basis. So I feel that my admin role really helped me with doing that. Again, organization skills, you have to be on top of your diary as a PWP, and listening skills, you be a good listener when you're doing your appointments with your patients. Now, call center, again, I gained some communication skills, organization skills, problem solving, and I learned how to be empathetic as well. When you are a PWP, hopefully it's no surprise, we do have to be empathetic with patients when we're doing assessments or treatments, and I feel that I really did gain these key skills from the non-traditional mental health experiences that I gathered. Now, the reason for showing this is because a lot of the time people have said to me, at least, that they feel the work experience they've got is not enough, and in my case I felt the same. It was only until I actually sat down and really reflected on my experience that I learned, actually, this is all worthy experience. I feel what's really useful is to reflect. My CV wasn't as good. I think if I looked back to my very first CV and personal statement, it was not reflective at all. And it's probably because I thought all this experience, like working in retail, working in call center, is useless, because I wasn't working in a mental health unit, or I wasn't working in mental health hospitals. I felt that only experience in mental health setting would be useful, but actually once I used the Gibbs reflective model and reflected on all my experiences, that's when I actually realized, no, I've gained some great skills that I can use and refine while working as a PWP. So that's the reason for sharing this. That's a bit similar to this slide as well. You can see here, while I was working in retail, I was gaining communication skills. I was learning how to work well as a team. And again, you have to do that when you're working as a PWP. You know, you're part of a team, and you refine those skills. And again, working in voluntary roles, I gained some great listening skills, empathetic, learned how to work well in a team. So the point overall is that every work experience does matter. I believe it's all down to how you reflect. Again, that's what it was for me. It was all about really reflecting and bringing these skills and using them in the appropriate sections in the personal statement and interviews. So I have actually used examples from my non-traditional mental health experiences in interviews, and I have passed them interviews. But again, that's not me saying that if you do it, you're securing the interview. It's very individualistic. This is more just about me sharing my experience, and saying that every other work experience you do, like working in retail, is not just a waste of time. If you are gaining these skills, you are gaining relevant skills, then you can definitely use them in your personal statement and your interviews. But it's all about learning to be reflective. So that's just my experience. Here are my tips then, for anyone that's watching this video, anyone looking to refine their work experience or get more work experience. It's mostly aimed at psychology students, and some of these tips I wish someone gave to me while I was a college or a university student, but these are my very personal tips. So again, there's so many tips out there, and this is just tips from my experience. First one would be start early. It's never too early to start getting work experience. So if you feel that there's work experience going around part-time when you're even at college, then go for it. Even if you don't like it, then at least you've tried it and had a go at it. Again, starting early is never a bad thing. Getting organized, this is a really key one. Learning how to be organized from college actually has really helped me in my current role. While you're working as a PWP, you have to be really organized. Diary management is so important. So learning how to be organized, even if that means organizing, looking for jobs, planning in your diary for when you're going to work on your CV, just stuff like that. Getting into the habit of organizing can be very useful later on after you've graduated. Speaking to university or college careers advisors, so really take advantage of this opportunity. It's free while you are a student, so do speak to them, do reach out to them, do attend the talks that they set out, do attend the careers fairs. They're all very useful. They allow you to talk with potential employment places, and you can just get a better understanding, or they might even have some jobs or experience going. So do take that opportunity if you can. Next one would be to contact charity organizations. So if you feel like you are struggling to get work experience, then there's always loads of experience going around with charity organizations like Mind. Well, at least it was while I was at university. One of the really crucial work experience I gathered was actually working with a charity organization, but the way I got in contact with them because an email went around during my third year asking that they are looking for volunteers. It was actually working with some bereavement counsellors, and that's been a great work experience. So another one, I know I've not put it there, would be to keep an eye out on emails, but it's pretty straightforward. So whenever you do get emails or opportunities, do take them. And last one would be just to build connections. Now, I didn't actually use this myself. I wasn't a very big LinkedIn fan, but I have heard that it has been useful for some people. So if you would like to, building connections might be a way forward. Also, places like LinkedIn might actually publish some work experience opportunities. So I guess it might be useful in that case. But overall, these are just some of the tips. Again, like I said, there's so many different things work for different people. My major tip would just be, do what you enjoy and start early. It's never too early to get starting, and do reach out and speak to your careers advisors. That's a really key one, which I didn't use so much myself, but if you feel like you are really struggling with getting work experience, then do definitely speak to your careers advisors. They will always have some sort of support there for you, or some advice. But that's about it. Now, I know I said I will try and make this shorter than my previous presentation. I've just about managed. It's still not as short as I wanted it to be, and that's probably because there's just so much information that I can give. But I'll end it there. If you have any questions, as always, do put it down in the comment section, and I would really appreciate it if you could subscribe to my channel. That will really help me in, I guess, continuing to do this. And yes, hopefully I will upload weekly videos, but with my job sometimes it can be quite intense, so I guess my target would be to do once a month at least. But hope you all found this really helpful. And if you didn't, that's just let me know. Give me some feedback on how to improve. I always welcome feedback. And yes, hope you all have a lovely evening.